Well, hello and welcome to the Informed Traveler Podcast, a weekly travel podcast where our goal is to help you become a more informed traveler. And I'm your host, Randy Sharman. On this week's podcast, we'll continue our game of Where is Travel Expert Onanta Forbes as she sails on board Holland America's Zuiderdam. So in a few seconds, we'll find out where she's been this past week. Plus, both Air Canada's Aeroplan and Westjet Rewards recently announced changes coming to their loyalty programs. So we'll find out the good and the bad of both plans with Patrick Soika from Rewards Canada, and Ken Stewart from Cropa Travel Solutions will be along with a few destination ideas and travel deals with our weekly roundup. But first, let's kick things off chatting with travel expert Onanta Forbes, who joins us each week to share her travel adventures, and she's on quite an adventure on board Holland America's Zuiderdam. And each week we'd like to find out where she's been, what she's been up to. Hi, Onanta. Where are you today?
We just pulled into Colombo, Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka has always been a bucket list item for me, or a destination. So I'm very excited to explore it. So next week I'll share how I did and what I saw, and was it worthy of a bucket list, which I'm thinking it is going to be.
Yeah, you never want to be disappointed with something you get really excited about, right?
Yeah, that's it exactly. So it's since we last talked, I think last time when we talked, we were just pulling into Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and Malaysia I love. It's like the country is just a contrast of so many different things. Like it's a blending of people and culture, like Indian, Malay, Chinese. And then from that, you get the beautiful food. Like the food's amazing here. And then, exploring Kuala Lumpur, you see that in their architecture. And I went on a tour, and some of the sites that we did see included like a photo stop at the King's Palace. And it's the official residence of His Majesty, the King of Malaysia. And it's a beautiful, stately mansion set within this landscape garden. Like you can't go in past the gates where there's guards that are similar to guards at Buckingham Palace, just dressed up in their finery. Beautiful opportunity to see just what the palace looks like. It's gilded in gold. It's quite lovely. And then we went to and had a photo stop at the National Mosque. And this is where they have like an expression of traditional Islamic art and calligraphy and ornaments. And there's like a minaret that towers right, like quite high over its umbrella-like roof. And it's located adjacent to the old railway station, and this is really quite grand. And this is where you're going to see, I'm not going to say this right, Mughali architecture, which features 7 stately minarets. It's really quite lovely. And then we went to Independence Square, and here you're going to see it's like the former playing field of like the Royal Singapore Club. It's like a cricket club, I'm thinking, because it was huge, like a cricket, where you play cricket matches. And this is where the square is where like they have important events that are held, such as like National Day celebration and street parades. So it's quite beautiful. Like I say, the architecture was really neat. Like another amazing building is like it's now serving as the government administration during the British era, the Sultan Abdul Saman building. And then there's the Cathedral of St. Mary the Virgin and Anglican Church that's nearby. So you can see all the different influences of occupation that were in Malaysia. And it's funny how, in different places, they always blame somebody. In here, they blame the British for different things. So it's kind of interesting. And then we went to a site where we could see the Petronas Twin Towers, and they were once the tallest buildings in the world, and it's like a 6-story shopping mall located at the bottom of the towers, and this is where we ended the tour and then we headed back to the ship. And then the next day we went to, Langkawi. And so there's 99 islands that make up like Langkawi. And we went to Palu Langkawi, which is the largest island. And this is where like the cruise ships, call. It's at Porto Malay and
Hmm.
where ferries and flights arrive from the Malaysian mainland. Um, so it's a beautiful island. It's in the Andaman Sea and it's home to about 95,000 people. So it isn't huge. It does have a good infrastructure of hotels and international and Malayan restaurants. And you can hear, some of the guests on board went to the beaches. Some went scuba diving just offshore. We went and saw this. Um, where the like shopping where the boutique goods are, and then we went up this cable car and got this beautiful overview of the jungle and the mountains and just the island in general. We did visit a Taoist temple, and then when we or a temple in general, because there's lots of temples and different religious structures that you can view because it is a very religious country, right?
Hmm.
So the opportunity to see different cultures is definitely something that I think is one of the major draws of Malaysia. And then after Malaysia, we went to Singapore, a very tiny city, country. Very clean. I don't know if you remember or you hear of different, like you can't chew gum here. You're not going to get caned or thrown in jail, but they really pride themselves on being clean and no rubbish. And the reason why they say no chewing gum is that people would put the gum in where the train's doors would close, so that would
Oh,
affect the
really?
efficiency, yeah, of their time, of the trains. And they're very focused on being efficient here. A great country, again, a lot of influence of different cultures. um, we went to a temple here. Then we went on a 30-minute like riverboat cruise, and this went through the heart of the city, so you could see like how you like all the big buildings that are here, the amazing um, hotels that you can see right from the river. Um, there's this beautiful statue of this like lion, and he's shooting water into the river. It's called the Merlion Fountain, and then you can catch a glimpse of. It's quite famous, the Marina Bay Sands Hotel. So lots of opportunity to see restaurants and wine bars. It's a nice way to kind of see the city, other than doing like a city tour on a bus, from a different
Yeah.
perspective, being on the river. Um, One of the things that you're going to find in these countries, it's hot and steamy, so you really do have to put on the sunscreen and wear hat and bring lots of water to hydrate yourself. So keep that in mind, because you when you come back and you might not have done a lot, but you feel kind of drained and you might need a nap
Hmm. It
or at
does
least a
wear
dip
you
in the
out.
pool.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does
it
wear you
does.
out.
And then from the river cruise, like we continued and we went into the colonial district, and it's known as Old Singapore. And this is where you'll see like City Hall and St. Andrew's Cathedral, and taking in some great architecture from the past. Like it's amazing. And then from a street called Arab Street, like it was an opportunity to photograph the it's a gold dome Sultan Mosque, and then you drive by Raffles Hotel, and this is named after the British founder of modern day Singapore, Sir Stamford Raffles. And this is property is probably one of the oldest, finest, and most famous hotels. It's actually owned by or run by Accor brands. And I don't know if our listeners know, but there's an iconic doorman. It's always a Sikh, and he's dressed up in his turban, and that's like one of the mainstay and attractions of the hotel.
Hmm.
So uh, he knows it. And they pose quite beautifully for pictures. So do check into my Facebook and my Instagram pages because I do have a little write up on him and a picture of the one I saw that day. I was just saying I'm very privileged to be on this voyage. It's actually the third Holland America World Grand Voyage, but there's also lots of opportunity for charitable initiatives on board. And one I wanted to just showcase it's called Project Linus Blanket Showcase. So throughout the cruise, since I boarded in Sydney, there was different times where people, men and women, would get together in the mornings and they would just knit these blankets. And these blankets it's a mission to provide love and comfort to seriously ill children. And then the special blankets are also sold in an auction for money for the yarn. So you don't have to bring any balls of yarn on board. They had boxes of different color yarns that you could pick and choose. And I put on my Facebook and Instagram pages just some fun facts about how long it takes to make it and how many blankets were made during different years of on board with Holland America. And then we're also going to have a silent auction. So people would donate different things. I don't know if they brought it while they're at destinations or they brought it with them. Like one of the items is Canadian maple syrup. And you just silent auction. And it would be the money raised is for education and a school in Wallis Bay in Namibia. We're not going to Namibia, but that's one of the chosen charities of Holland America. And I think that's quite important as travelers that, we are really privileged. We live in an amazing country that I'm very grateful to be a citizen of. But we also have to respect that not everybody has our opportunities. And, whatever you can do along the way, whether you're at home or traveling, is appreciated.
That's a good idea. It's a great idea. So, good. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So, great trip so far. Absolutely.
It sounds like it. This is I'm thinking third or fourth week now. So I'm just curious about the onboard experience. Do you lose track of the days yet? Days of the week, or has it become sea day, port day?
Oh no, it's absolutely because I'm still working remotely. So as you had mentioned at the beginning, I'm living in the future, right? So when I'm with my clients, it's like I have to remember that it's the day before for them when I'm talking to them or I'm sending them emails or, wishing them a good weekend. Well, maybe it's not the weekend yet, kind of like that. But yeah, maybe if I wasn't working remotely, I wouldn't be so cognizant of the time zone difference. My partner, he says that it just blends in one day to another. Yeah, so I would say it's your perspective.
The only reason why I say that is because as a crew member, Monday to Friday was non-existent. It was sea day, port day, turnaround day.
Yeah.
So whatever day that had to be, that was it, right? So, and I'm also curious too, have you had the same meal twice now, or is the same menu?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Because eventually I would think they'd have to recycle the menu after a while.
Yes, there is. There's always the classics, like, if you wanted your steak or your Caesar salad or your shrimp cocktail. And then yesterday, in the Lido market, they had the taste of Mumbai, which was just yummy. So they do try to be flavorful depending on the destination that you're in. You would ask me what kind of things are happening on board. So yesterday they had like on your floor where you can meet your neighbors and the various team members of Holland America, including the captain and the general manager.
Oh, cool.
In your state reporter, and then they would have complimentary drinks called things, wine, nuts, and you bring your own glass. And it's just a chance to meet, like our captain is Captain Frank, and it's their, and they just go around and say hello, and then you say hello to your neighbors if you haven't really known them yet. So that's something to do. Every sea day around 2 o'clock, there's an opportunity to meet in the Lido market, and it's like a craft thing that you
Mm.
do where they give out little bags, and you could either make like a little picture or you could make a necklace, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So there's lots of things to do. I didn't do anything, and I when my partner went to the gym, I watched the movie. I watched Conclave. It was good.
Good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
so there's something to do or not to do.
So what's the week ahead? Where are you headed for?
So we are today in
Sri Lanka.
Colombo, Sri Lanka, and then we're
Hmm.
going to Maldives. So that's quite interesting. I just wanted to share with you too. So there are like opportunities for people when they're at destination or on the cruise. They can actually do overnights at different places. So some people today are leaving Sri Lanka. They're flying to see the Taj Mahal in Agra, and
Hmm.
then they're going to go to Dubai, and then they're going to come back to the ship. So
Wow.
it's quite interesting what you can do. Other people are just going when they're in the Maldives. They're going to stay in the Maldives for a couple of days, maybe 2 to 3 days, and they go to a resort there and stay there. So there's opportunity to do like mini vacations with this cruise, like with packages.
Hmm.
One thing, as your favorite travel advisor, I'm going to tell you, is when you look on it, it's in your shore excursions that you can pre-book ahead of time. Now they're priced in US dollars and they're not cheap. So do ask your travel advisor for a comparison for what you could do in Canadian dollars from their perspective, booking it for you to do the same thing.
Yeah, good point. Especially the way the dollar is these days. And I would think too, like if you're booking this cruise 6 months out, who knows what the dollar is
Yeah,
going to be 6 months from now? So maybe you might want to book as much as you can now before
yeah,
gambling on the dollar being worse when you're on board.
yeah, absolutely. So that's just something because it was like when I look at the prices, I thought, I think it's fun and it's a really good thing to do, but you do have to manage the cost properly. And your travel agent
Hmm.
can help you with that.
Cool. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, it is an amazing adventure, and we're following you on Facebook and Instagram and X at Onanta Forbes and your website, onantaforbes.com. So we'll continue to do that. Look forward to more of your adventures, and we'll be chatting with you next week.
you bet. Thank you.
Well, both Air Canada's Aeroplan and Westjet Rewards recently announced changes coming soon to their loyalty programs. So joining us now to give us the good and the bad of both plans is Patrick Soika. He is the founder of Rewards Canada. Rewardscanada.ca is the website. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Randy. It's a pleasure to be back on your podcast.
Always great to chat with you, especially when it comes to any kind of loyalty program, rewards program. And two specific ones have changes coming, Aeroplan and Westjet Rewards. Let's talk about Aeroplan. I'm an Aeroplan member. Well, I do
Yep.
have some Westjet Rewards too, but I have mostly Aeroplan. Am I going to like what's coming?
With Aeroplan, probably not. I mean, everything's still up in the air because we don't know exactly. But I mean, yeah. Basically, the changes with Aeroplan is that they've announced that they're going to move some of their airline partners into their dynamically priced award chart that they use for Air Canada flights.
Uh-huh.
So there's what is it? It's 7 airlines: United, Emirates, Fly Dubai, Etihad. Those are all the international airlines being moved into the dynamically priced charts, and then you have Calm Air, Canadian North, and PAL, like provincial airlines here in Canada, who are being moved there as well. Now, if history tells us anything, anytime an airline program moves to this dynamic pricing, and I guess I should explain, dynamic pricing is where the amount of points or miles you have to use for an award flight is kind of based on how full the flight is, how much they're charging for cash. So it can fluctuate. So, I mean, if you're going to fly at spring break when when flights are 4 times the cost, you're probably going to be paying 4 times the points for them. So history is typically showing that when an airline moves to dynamic pricing, in most cases, it is not as good for the member.
Well, I don't like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but I guess I should say on the flip side, there are times when it's better too, because, if there's a seat sale and the pricing's low, then typically the points will follow that too. So you do have the opportunity to redeem for less.
But if it's a seat sale, that's when I don't want to use my points.
True.
It's pretty cheap to get a flight somewhere.
Exactly.
So.
You have to look at, you have to do your whole comparison of the value of the points versus the cash price of the ticket.
Suppose.
Exactly. Now, I mean, granted, I think there was a bigger deal made out of this than it is. And I think biggest is probably because of the partners who are like Comair, Canadian North, because right now those are what we would say they provide huge outsized value for your points, because if you're redeeming for a flight to Churchill or to somewhere in the territories, those are some very expensive cash tickets. Like they're very rarely are they cheap in terms of cash. Yeah. But points wise, they've always been a really good deal. So you get a lot of value per point. So that's where the biggest devaluation will probably come, is kind of in the kind of economy class tickets on those. The other airlines like United, Emirates, FlyDubai, Etihad, that's such a niche in the program that, United, I think there's definitely more redemptions for that, but Emirates and Etihad and FlyDubai, I would wager a guess you're looking at 0.1 or 0.2% of all Aeroplan redemptions.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not a crazy deal. And I mean, on the flip side, Air Canada is promising that there's going to be more availability for seats.
Yeah, well, we'll see that when that happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's been kind of a complaint about, like, I know United Airlines, people who are looking for domestic flights within the U.S., like going, say, San Francisco and New York, that they haven't been able to find availability with Aeroplan. So hopefully this will open that up. So
hopefully it will.
Yeah.
Well, so is it like, did they make it easier to collect Aeroplan points? Like,
they've kind of been, they've been adding more and more partners. You have things like Starbucks and the e-store and all those type of things. And in general, I wouldn't say if there's anything recently that made it easier. There's always more ways to earn.
Yeah.
What I've always told people for years and years on end, when dynamic pricing first kind of appeared, it's almost probably been 15 years or 16 years since we first saw the first dynamic pricing, is that the way to combat it is without moving to a different program, which, I mean, most programs are moving dynamic anyway. So it's,
exactly.
You're kind of lost either way you go, is you have to try and earn as many points as possible. And that's taking advantage of bonus offers, taking advantage of your credit card accelerators, anything that comes out there. You'll keep an eye on those bonus offers. Recently Air Canada has been offering a lot of bonus points on their flights during seat sales. 1.5 times points, 2 times points. So take advantage of those things to, ultimately combat the higher price of the reward flights.
Okay, so maybe I should apply for a Westjet rewards credit card now and
perhaps
see what happens on that side. So what's changed with WestJet?
Yeah. Oh, huge changes WestJet, right? It's almost a revamp of the program. They're calling it the old new WestJet rewards. I mean, they're biggest change to the program in 15 years in its 15-year history. Now they started with some changes announcing some changes late last year, late in 2024, to the elite part of the program, to the elite status tiers. Most of that was met with negative feedback because of they increased the amount it takes to get to platinum. They changed the qualification amounts to get their milestone awards. That's what WestJet Rewards was really famous for, was these what they call milestone rewards, where every $2,000 of elite qualifying spending, you could basically get one of those companion vouchers. So really great deal there with WestJet. So they've changed that. They've really spaced out the amount of spending required for the milestone awards, but they've added different ones, which I think we can get into further as we discuss, because there are a lot of changes to the WestJet rewards. But for that, basically that's the elite. So now they've announced April 30th, we get this whole big revamp. They're changing from WestJet dollars to points. They are making it easier to earn points on flights, easier to redeem points on flights. Overall, I would say 9 times out of 10, 99% of it is positive. If we take out those previously announced elite status changes, everything that WestJet is doing, it's going to say Air Canada, everything that WestJet is doing is actually a positive change to the program. So this is really, it's really good news for the Canadians. It's really good news, I feel, for the leisure traveler, because it's really a program focused towards the leisure traveler.
Mm. Well, it's almost like WestJet saw what Aeroplan was going to do, and we said, let's do something different.
Yeah.
That's what the conspiracy theorist in me wants to think.
Yeah, I mean, they are always watching what each other does, for sure.
Oh,
and they're trying to compete in that regard. But I think we've seen WestJet, they've kind of pulled back from the East. I mean, they are flying out east, of course, in Eastern Canada, but their focus is heavily on Western Canada. They're making Calgary their super hub. Air Canada's pulled back out of Calgary. So they are competing, but they're also kind of they've kind of found each of their own lane, right? That they're following. And WestJet has focused more on that leisure. They bought Sunwing Vacations. They are really focusing on the Caribbean, Mexico, the sun destinations. They canceled their orders for additional 787s. So they're kind of maxed out on the international routes, and they're kind of maxed out on offering a true business class because they don't have more planes come in. So their focus is on that leisure travel, and that's where these WestJet points now really make sense for Canadians who don't fly a lot. It's not. I'm not saying that WestJet is, say, giving up the market of the business traveler, of the frequent traveler. They're focusing on that too, but definitely you can tell that more of the focus is on the leisure traveler, because now you earn points on your entire base fare except for taxes that are collected by the government, which is great, because before you would only earn it on the base fare. You wouldn't earn it on surcharges, anything extra that WestJet charged. So now you earn more. And you can also redeem the points, but they're actually going to let you redeem points for taxes and fees as well. So you can get your flight 100% for free if you want, which is really cool. Now, Aeroplan does have that option as well. So I should note, so they are in some ways following what Aeroplan offers. The difference between, I would say, with WestJet and Aeroplan is WestJet is you can redeem pretty much any amount. As long as you have 2,500 points, which is $25 worth of travel, you can redeem towards a flight. So it doesn't matter if your flight's $300, $700, $1,700, you can redeem your points towards it to get a little bit of a discount. Whereas with Aeroplan, you only have 4 levels that you can redeem points. You always have to hit a certain level with Air Canada, which tends to be higher than WestJet's 2,500 points. So there's that whole kind of leisure traveler, not so frequent traveler focus, is that it's easier to redeem your points for like WestJet flights and things like that.
And so now when you say the cost of your full flight with WestJet Rewards, does that include like say a baggage fee or a seat selection, that kind of thing?
You will earn points on those, and you can redeem points on those as well. You can 100% get your whole entire, whatever you've paid for on that flight, you can get for free. So I'm assuming you'll have to pick your seats and luggage and all those things at time of booking. I don't see a way of redeeming points, when you're at check-in. After the fact. Yeah. But you'll have to do it at that point. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, so it's a really great option. Now, the one concern I wrote about, and this is what a lot of people are saying, points make it a lot easier to devalue the program. And this is true. And now there's no devaluation right now. So say if you have 100 WestJet dollars, you're going to have 10,000 points, which is worth $100 towards your base fare. That hasn't changed. But yes, moving to points, it allows them to change earn rates, and it also allows them to change redemption rates. So they can devalue on both sides. Because right now with WestJet dollars, they can play around with the earn rate, but they can't play with the redemption. A dollar's a dollar.
Yeah, a dollar's a dollar. The price, the cost of the airfare is the cost of the airfare, regardless.
So it's inevitable. There will be a devaluation in the future. I mean, every loyalty program's done it. I mean, with Aeroplan, they're moving dynamic. Miles & More, which is the program for Lufthansa, Austria, and Swiss, they just announced dynamic pricing. British Airways did some changes. I mean, all the programs are always evolving and changing, and then we as the consumer have to evolve and change how we work with those programs. It's a vicious circle. It's a big cat and mouse game. So right now there's no concerns, no devaluation. But I should note that when you do redeem your points for those extras on the fares, so like your surcharges, your baggage, the redemption rate will be a little bit different. You're getting a little bit less value. So you're still getting the same value towards your base fare. So I mean, let's take a flight to London, which may be $1,000. If it's $200 base fare, $800 in fees and surcharges, which is what tends to be flights to Europe for economy class, you can redeem at your current rate for that $200, but that $800 will have a little bit of a different redemption rate. What WestJet told me is like they have two options. You can do a 50-50 option. So say it's $800 in surcharges and fees. You can pay $400 cash and then redeem points for $400, or you could redeem 100% of your points for 100% of those surcharges, so $800.
And if you say you don't have enough rewards points, then you can use what you have and then just pay the difference.
Exactly. And so they're going to give those options. And so if you go with, like, say, the 50-50 option, your redemption rate may be something like, they said approximately 110 points to $1, whereas you're getting 100 points to $1 for the base fare. And if you choose to use points for your all the surcharges, everything, it'll be roughly, they said, around 105 points to $1. So it's not a huge difference. A little bit less value for the points, but still very respectable. And then speaking of credit card, that's the next change too in the program, is they will allow they'll allow you to reach elite status strictly on credit card spending. You actually don't even have to set foot on the plane. You can spend on your card. Now, it takes a lot of credit card spending. And if you want to reach the top tier,
and we're certainly not advocating for you to go out and get into huge debt on a credit card. But if you're using everyday expenditures and pay it off at the end of the month, why not? Right?
Exactly. Why not? And there are people who use their credit cards for their businesses who are putting 5 or 6 figures on their card every month.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you want to reach platinum status in WestJet without setting foot on the plane, you have to spend $250,000 on your credit card, and that'll get you platinum status. Now, for me, $250,000, that's not happening. But like I said, there are businesses.
There are people out there, and
will
bless
put that
them.
much on. And and they're actually going to launch a small business credit card actually later this year as well for small business, because there are some businesses, some people, they want that split. They don't like the extra bookkeeping, the extra work of splitting, personal and business spending off of one card, so they can get a separate. And then you can combine everything you earn on the business card. You can combine it with what you earn on your personal card, all into one Westjet Rewards account. So it's really cool.
Nice.
So yeah, a lot of good positive changes here.
I might have to go check, see how many rewards I have. It's been a while since I've checked my WestJet rewards, so I have to see how much I have and adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
Well, you are the guy when it comes to rewards and loyalty points. You can find out lots of information on Patrick's website, rewardscanada.ca. Patrick Soika is the founder of Rewards Canada. It's always fun to chat with you, Patrick. I always learn so much.
It's always great to be on your show, Randy.
This is the Informed Traveler Podcast. I'm Randy Sharman. Just want to remind you of our website, theinformedtraveler.org. That's where you can find our contact page if you have any questions or comments about the podcast. You can also email me too with any questions you might have or podcast segment ideas. My email address is randy@theinformedtraveler.org. And if you want to get up-to-date travel info through the week or just see a few amusing travel stories and links, you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/informedtraveler, on Instagram @informedtraveler, or on X @informedtraveler. Plus, now you can sign up for our monthly newsletter. It's released at the beginning of every month, and our March issue is now available. Just go to our website, theinformedtraveler.org. Click on the newsletter button, and it'll take you right there. Or, better yet, subscribe to it, and it'll arrive in your inbox each month. So now, as always, we'd like to end the show with our weekly roundup. Joining us to do that is Ken Stewart from Crowfoot Travel Solutions. Good day, sir.
Hello, Randy. Hello, everybody.
How was the week?
Been really good. Really good. We like to talk about this a lot, and we're sorry for it's repetitious, but it's surprising how much and how often it's still happening. So whether you're traveling now or not, go check out your passport and other important buttons that you might be needing to travel, your PR card. A lot of people have the Nexus cards nowadays that you're using to travel, and make sure they're still valid. And put little reminders on a calendar or something about 6 months out before they expire.
That's a good
just
idea.
so that you got time to renew it. I know mine are on. I have a little Yahoo calendar on my desktop, and I put in there repeat every year, even though it's not expiring, but it's that reminder for me to remind myself to check.
Yeah.
And often, a lot of times, your passport has to be valid for a minimum of 6 months after your travel date for a lot of countries and destinations, as well as many of the destinations that require proof of medical insurance, which we can always assist if you don't have a plan or anything by yourself to enter that country. Surprisingly, and they don't enforce it, but the U.S. requires you to have medical insurance to enter the U.S. as a note.
Good
But
idea
again,
to
it's
put
one of
it in
those
your
ones that don't
calendar,
ask.
though.
But you go to Cuba, and Cuba's going to ask you to show proof of insurance before they let you in the country.
Good idea to put it in your calendar to remind you to renew your
Yep.
passport. I like that.
And also, when you're traveling, make sure you're checking out to see if there's any documentation you need to enter a country. There's a lot of e-visas out there that are being done online. I know if you're traveling to sun destinations, Jamaica, Cancun in particular, the Dominican Republic, all have online immigration forms you have to fill out before you arrive. And again, a lot of people book their own airfares. And again, just make sure you do those e-visas well in advance or within their guidelines. I had a client this past week who procrastinated a little bit, and he was traveling over to Southeast Asia to do a package tour. He had 2 countries that he had to do visas for, and he left one until kind of the last minute.
Uh-oh.
It still wasn't processed by the time he went to get on the plane, and he was denied boarding.
Oh, no.
Luckily, it did come in for him later that day, so we were able to update his ticket and change, so he was able to fly out. But he did miss his first day, and he had to pay a little bit more to change his airline ticket. So
Well,
again,
yeah.
make sure you're getting those done. It's very, very important.
Yeah, get all your paperwork all in order so then you have a hassle-free experience, right?
Exactly. This is some really big news, but I thought it was kind of interesting. WestJet's announcing that effective May 6th, they're going to accept new maximum carry-on baggage sizes to align with common baggage carry dimensions adopted by other North American carriers. I didn't realize that they were different than everybody else. So
Me
now
neither.
now they're going to be the same. So the new size is 22 by 14 by 9 inches. That has to account for your wheels and your handles. And again, I've noticed a lot of times when I've been flying, and I've had other clients comment on it now, a lot of airlines are actually using those little bag things that they have by the gates to make sure your bag fits. And if it doesn't fit in there, it's going to have to go as checked underneath.
Well, I hope this helps with the people with the overstuffed backpacks that continue to go as a carry-on that
Yeah.
barely fit in the overhead bin. And every time they turn around, the stupid backpack is hitting you in the head. So if that helps, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You see the guy standing on top of it, trying to make it fit inside that little configuration.
One of my biggest pet peeves. But anyways, I digress.
We've got St. Patrick's Day coming up this month. And Celebrate CIA Tours, one of our preferred partners for Ireland, wants you to come over and visit the Green Isle. And maybe if you've done it before, you need to go back for a second trip and check out well that you missed. So if you book your air and packages by March 24th and travel from May through December of all this year, you can save as much as $900 a person. So again, great opportunity. Picture yourself kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin, or maybe you're going to do an Irish jig in a local pub, or have a Guinness in the Guinness Brewery during your tour. And then you can have another couple when you finish the tour as well, because they give you some samples. So there's a
That's
particular one you like.
that's me doing an Irish jig at a pub.
And again, with over 100 packages to choose from, there's likely going to be one that we can find that's going to fit you and get you what you need to do.
Good stuff.
Want to get up close with a glacier, maybe be on top of one, or maybe you see a whale or two as you're sailing along. Day trip could be a hike or a kayak. I know you can ride the rails on the Right Pass Railroad. We did that when we were there going up into the mountains. Princess Cruises is offering their Alaska cruises to us Canadians at par. So that works out to about a saving of around 45%.
Wow.
New bookings by March 23rd. And again, a lot of voyages to choose from, up to 94 voyages that you could choose from. So again, we've got a few weeks to get that checked out. And again, give us a call and we'll see what we can find you. But again, paying the par is a really good deal nowadays.
Well, the way the dollar's going, it's a bigger and bigger saving every day.
Exactly. And again, those sun destinations, we're getting more and more loaded now. We're up into January next year, starting to see a few trickle in for February. So if you're looking for next year, want to get away, give us a shout now. And again, lots of stuff available for the summer, becoming more and more popular for people. And reminder, one of our preferred partners is Air Canada Vacations. But we just want to remind you all they have to offer. So they just don't do the sun destinations all year long now. You can also do tours with airfare included. You can do Canada and the U.S. We can do local packages to Europe. They've added India, Asia. Maybe you want to do a beach stay over in Bali, down under in Australia, Colombia now in South America, and they're adding more and more all the time. We've got cruises with them. We can book all the popular cruise lines, and you can add your airfare with them onto the cruise using Air Canada. So again, that's really, really cool because with them, the airfare is fully refundable up to 24 hours before you go.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
if you're one of those people that like to check online to see what the prices are doing, if you find it cheaper after you've done your booking, you get the airfare for free.
Ooh,
I
I
think
like
that's really
that
cool.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they throw in their cruise guarantee where they guarantee if your flights are delayed or anything like that, they're going to get you to the first port to hook up with your ship. So,
even better.
and reminder, I know you're a member and I'm a member. Everything you book that has Air Canada flights in it earns you your Aeroplan points. And a lot of times during the year, they'll come out with different promos where they're throwing in bonus offers. So have a chat with us about your options. So right now, if you want to get away this summer to a beach, Air Canada Vacation is offering a free price guarantee so that if it drops up to $200 a person, you're going to get that new pricing. Free seat selection, which is worth a fair bit. You just have to book by March 23rd.
Nice. You're right about the free seat selection because that's getting more and more expensive all the time now.
Oh, it's crazy on some flights.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. And again, when we mentioned earning Aeroplan points on all the flights with their kind of bookings, let's use those Aeroplan points that are in your account. A lot of times people like to use them for flights, but sometimes that could be a little bit difficult. So they've created a new option for you. You can use them to pay for any package, cruise, or tour, any amount booked with Air Canada Vacations. We'll help you do all of that. All you need to do, though, is convert those Aeroplan points into an Air Canada gift cards. You give us the cards and the numbers on those, and then we'll apply them to your booking.
Perfect.
And just a little reminder, again, we talk about this a lot as well, too, but it's surprising how many people still think that travel agents are different, but we're not really. The only thing that we're really different about is we give you that personal attention. So online pricing is almost identical to what any agent can find for you. Not only can we assist you before, make some help or some suggestions for you because maybe you're not sure about what you're doing or where you're going. We can assist you during your trip and, if necessary, after the trip, heaven forbid, if there was an issue. So, I mean, booking online, you're really still essentially dealing with a travel agent in that sense, but you've got no personalized service, can't have conversations really, and you have to look after everything by yourself. For example, like my client this week who was denied boarding. If you've never used a real life travel agent, try one out. Doesn't cost you much. And there's lots of good ones here in Calgary. You might like how easy the process is and how much more enjoyable in the end your vacation is.
And what is the number to call if you want to do all that?
877-511-5511. Then you too can relax. It's all taken care of.
Indeed, sir.
Have a great week, everyone.
And that is our show for this week. If you have comments or questions, we'd love to hear from you. If you have a show idea, send that along as well. My email is randy@theinformedtraveler.org. And if you like what you heard, tell a friend. You can check out our website too at theinformedtraveler.org. In the meantime, thanks for listening, travel safe, and be an informed traveler.